So you've probably heard of Mike Dolce, the guy behind the scenes helping UFC fighters drop serious weight fast. But what's the deal with his 3 weeks to shredded program? Is it just hype, or is there actually something we can learn from it, especially if you're not stepping into the octagon anytime soon? In this video, I'm breaking down the 3 weeks to shredded diet, what it promises, how it works, and whether it holds up for everyday athletes, especially those of us who are over 40 and want to get lean without wrecking our energy, metabolism, or even our sanity. If you're looking to drop weight fast without the fluff and want to know if this plan is worth your time, or what to take away from it and what just to leave behind, stick around and let's get into it. So what exactly is 3 weeks to shredded? Well, it's part of Mike's origin story. You see, Mike has been involved in athletics, and specifically weight-based athletics like wrestling, powerlifting, and mixed martial arts for most of his life. After competing in wrestling, Mike transitioned to powerlifting and got his body weight to over 280 pounds, but he knew he was unhealthy. After reaching his heaviest, Mike began to bring his weight back down to compete in mixed martial arts. That brings us to the genesis of the first 3 weeks to shredded documents that Mike made publicly available. In 2007, while preparing for a match, the ladies in his women's fit class noticed Mike's dramatic and quick weight loss. In fact, during his 6-week fight camp, Mike dropped 42.8 pounds. The women were interested in what he was doing to drop the weight so fast. So Mike detailed his final 3 weeks where he lost 27.8 pounds. This came to be known as 3 weeks to shredded. Since 2007, Mike has developed what are known as the Dolce Diet Principles. If you've listened to any of his podcasts or watched any of his videos over the years, you'll recognize them. First, Mike recommends eating only earth-grown nutrients. Think whole foods like veggies, oats, chicken, eggs, etc. Second, Mike recommends eating every 2 to 4 hours based on activity. So more activity means more calories and specifically carbs. Less activity means fewer calories. Third, Mike recommends eating only until you're satisfied and not till you're full. You should be energized after a meal. Fourth, Mike stresses the importance of being properly hydrated. Fifth, Mike recommends finding ways to stay accountable to your plan. Now, it's important to note that 3 weeks to shredded is a weight cut and not necessarily a weight loss diet. Yes, you'll undoubtedly lose fat, but there's also a level of water manipulation that will return after the diet is over. You see, Mike claims that the diet can help you lose up to 21 pounds in 21 days. In his second 3 weeks to shredded book, Mike details the meal plan for Tiago Pitbull Alves, where Tiago cut from 198 pounds down to 170 pounds. That is 28 pounds in just 21 days. That's a lot, for sure. Keep in mind, this isn't for everyone, and losing weight that rapidly is difficult. By the end of this video, we'll know if I can survive the rigors of the diet, if this is all hype, or if it can help you drop almost a pound a day. I'm currently on day 6, which is a refeed day. So 5 days are complete and I'm down 4.6 pounds, or just under a pound a day. That is mostly water and some inflammation from the lower calories and cleaner meals. I'm going to show you some clips of my meals of the day, but because the amounts are specific to me and something that is not free to the public, I won't be going over specific amounts, but I will show you the basic structure of the meals and the snacks. So let's get to it. There you go. That is a full day of eating. 3 meals and 3 snacks. And as far as the first 6 days go, energy and hunger have not been a problem. My training has been just as good as normal, but keep in mind that my diet has a majority of the same foods on a regular basis. In the first few days, we're still around 2,300 calories total. Cravings haven't been an issue, and the hardest part I see right now, other than the future calorie cuts, is the monotony of the diet. Now, that is bad from the standpoint of sticking to something long-term, but this isn't meant to be long-term. It's only 3 weeks. Also, the consistency of the foods from day to day, makes meal planning and prep a breeze. Because of the nutrient density of the foods, I'm not concerned about developing any type of deficiency since it's only 3 weeks. All right, it's late and Mike recommends 7 to 9 hours of sleep. So I'm going to get to it and I will see you on day 21.
A few moments later.
Welcome back. I had originally planned to do a full day of eating on day 21, but that just wasn't possible. So it's day 22 or the final weigh-in day and the diet is done. So what were the results? Well, I'm down 12.6 pounds. That's an average of 0.6 pounds per day. Now that's not a pound per day. So the diet didn't deliver, right? Well, not exactly. To lose over half a pound a day for 3 weeks is significant. And I'll talk more about that in a second. But for now, here's a visual of my weight loss. As you can see, my weight trended down steadily with just a few hiccups along the way. I'll put up some screenshots of the scale from throughout the journey so you can see how it progressed. Now, the tagline for the diet is 21 pounds in 21 days, and I only lost 12.6. So it must be a bust. I don't think so. First, you have to consider why 3 weeks to shredded was even created. Mike created it for fighters needing to make a certain weight. As part of their weight cut, the fighters will use water manipulation in hot tubs to dramatically lower their scale weight in the final days before a fight. For example, in his 3 weeks to shredded book, Mike says Tiago's weight on the morning of day 21 was 179 pounds, and he weighed in at 170 the next day. That's 9 pounds in a day. For a little more context, Tiago lost 28 pounds total in 3 weeks, but he had only lost 10 pounds through the first 16 days. The remaining 18 pounds came during days 17 through 21. That's why these guys would hire Mike, to get them to a certain weight by a certain date at a certain time. For those of us who don't have to make weight and aren't as skilled as Mike, the 10 pounds in 16 days is a more reasonable measure of the diet success. For me, I was down 7 pounds at that point, not too far off Tiago's pace. I did use a little water manipulation the last couple of days, but not to the extent Mike would for his fighters because, well, there was no need to. Dehydration to that point is unhealthy regardless of how safely you try to do it. There just is no safe way. Second, as I mentioned, my diet is very good normally. Plus, unlike a lot of people knowing they're about to start a strict diet, I didn't go out and have some blowout weekend or meal beforehand. In fact, I'd already started a cut a couple of weeks before and was already down 7 pounds the day I started 3 weeks to shredded. So any initial bloat or water loss was already gone. Had I went ham the days before I started, I could have probably easily approached the 21-pound weight loss. When it's put in the context I just provided, I think 3 weeks of shredded actually delivered on its promises. So looking back, what are the pros and cons? The pros, simple, clean food choices. The meals actually taste good. And it's great for jump-starting a weight loss journey or dropping weight fast for a special event. The cons. Like I mentioned earlier, it's meant for short-term use, and it isn't sustainable long-term. There's not much flexibility or variety. For the 3 weeks to shredded program itself, though, that's fine because it's only 3 weeks and the food is good. But long-term, the lack of variety would be a deal breaker for most. It's aggressive. Toward the end, it definitely gets harder than I would typically recommend for general weight loss. So would I recommend it? Well, it depends. If you're cutting weight for a sport, absolutely. If you don't have issues with food or eating habits, you're probably good to go. If you struggle with food relationships or body image issues, I'd be cautious. The rebound after the diet is real. You will regain some weight as you rehydrate and refill glycogen stores, even if you keep eating clean. It's not fat, but it will add to the scale weight. If that's going to mess with your head, this might not be the right choice for you. Everyday folks without food issues and mentally prepared for the rebound, I think is a great tool for short-term use. I do have one critique. I used the online version through Mike's website along with his 3 weeks to shredded book. The diet is very similar in both, updated slightly online, but the water manipulation protocols are only in the book and not online. If you don't care about making a certain weight, then the online platform is very sufficient. Remember, this program is designed for people needing to make a specific weight, like fighters or competitors. And it suggests you can lose 21 pounds in 21 days. So unless you're significantly overweight, obese, or had a massive cheat weekend before starting, losing that much weight isn't realistic. Some people might pull it off, but most won't. A more realistic result for most people is 8 to 10 pounds of fat loss, which is super impressive for just 3 weeks. If you're aiming for that 21-pound mark, you'll definitely need the water manipulation protocols from the book. They're not extreme and they're generally safe, but they do make a noticeable difference in the final numbers. Would I do it again? For sure. But next time, I'd make a couple of changes. First, I'd skip the water manipulation. It's not needed unless you have a weight-tested event coming up. Also, on days 18 through 21, the macros get tough. Protein drops below 90 grams, carbs dip under 150 grams, and fat climbs to close to 100 grams. So, second, I'd also replace the meals on days 18 through 21 with the meals from days 13 through 15. That would cause a 100-calorie increase on those days, but it would provide sufficient protein and a lot more volume. I get why Mike structured it the way he did. Lower carbs means less glycogen and less water retention, so your weight drops faster. Increasing fat with calorie-dense foods like nut butters, whole eggs, almonds, and avocados keeps the calories up with less volume and weight than, say, a chicken breast would. But if your goal is simply to jumpstart fat loss or slim down for an event, that level of detail isn't necessary. So that's a wrap. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment with your thoughts or questions. And if you want more behind-the-scenes content, follow me on Instagram at Ageless Strength Performance. And with that, I'll see you in the next one.